Nerderotic.com.
Welcome back to Nerderotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerderotic.com. And this is going to be a short video, and I'm going to be doing more of these, so let me know how you like them. Concerning the Picard series and the Midnight's Edge video that came out last Thursday, the same day Star Trek Discovery came out, the same day my lawsuit video came out, and they kind of dropped a bomb. They put some very good circumstantial evidence together about the Star Trek canon, and it looks like Star Trek Discovery isn't really Star Trek canon. It looks like Star Trek canon died with the Enterprise in 2005. We have Star Trek Original Canon, Star Trek Prime Canon, which was a little bit in the early parts of the 2009 film, and Star Trek Discovery. And then we have the Kelvin universe. And of course, we have two different mirror universes now, too. We have Prime Universe and Original Canon universe. But when it comes to the Picard series, that puts everything in question now. Is Picard Prime Canon? Is this not original Star Trek canon? Well, it looks like that's the case. And of course, I will link the Midnight's Edge video in the description, but I gave you kind of what they said in a nutshell. This is all over merchandising and licensing. Why? Star Trek toys don't even sell that well anymore. I found Captain Kirk McFarlane. It was pretty good, but yeah, you don't see Star Trek toys around everywhere like you see Star Wars. So I don't know what the big fight is over merchandising. It is a revenue stream. It is pretty good, but it could be a lot better if they had worked stuff out. We don't know what's going on with Star Trek Discovery. I haven't heard from my source since he told me everything was up in the air. Things are not looking good, though, I will tell you that. But when it comes to the Picard series, it looks like this is not canon, and I'm going to show you a little circumstantial evidence, possibly. Now, the one thing we have heard over and over and over again is how radically different this show is going to be, and on the surface, we kind of expected that. But after the Midnight's Edge video, I think it puts a whole new light on all of these statements. How many times did they say this would be a different series? Let me show you just a few. Star Trek boss Picard leads radically altered life in CBS All Access series. Alex Kurtzman tells The Hollywood Reporter that Patrick Stewart's fan-favorite captain has a new life following the dissolution of the Romulan Empire, which he played a little part in Star Trek Countdown, which I have been talking about since this series was announced, and this has been confirmed by one of my sources, that this is what it's going to be based on. It wasn't that hard to put it together. I remember when the comic came out in my comic shop, I read it. It was a pretty decent comic. He was a Vulcan ambassador at the time, but it was plotted by Robert Orci and Alex Kurtzman. If we do this, I want it to be so different. I want it to be both what people remember but also not what they're expecting at all. Otherwise, why do it? Kurtzman recalls. Star Trek Picard series EP explains why show will be different from Next Generation. Kurtzman spoke with how and why the Picard series will be different from the Next Generation. How do we live to the spirit and to the character and for the tone that Next Generation set, but also make something very, very different in other ways? Expect the Captain Picard series to be very different from Star Trek The Next Generation. Star Trek Picard will be radically different in new spin-off with Patrick Stewart. Picard's life is much different in new Star Trek series. Picard will be living a very different life than the one he knew on the bridge of the Enterprise. That from Sci-Fi. I could go on forever with that, but here is one more example of a different wording of this.
Even though I know you said that you wouldn't revisit Jean-Luc Picard, that you are thinking about doing it, that you are going to do something.
Have thought and have said yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
I never believed this would or could happen because there have been numerous ideas and offers to bring the character or the series back in some way.
Yeah.
And I've always had to say, no, that is the past. I'm proud.
Okay, real quick. And numerous offers to bring the cast back and the series back in some way, and he said no. Very interesting.
Quite different from Next Generation.
Different.
Okay.
It's 20 years on, which is exactly how much time has passed since we wrapped the series in Los Angeles. And with every day that goes by, as the production draws nearer, I get more and more excited.
So you can't, you wouldn't go back to, knowing you, I think in the roles that you take, you wouldn't go back to him as he was, so he would have to be different for you to go back to him.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
And I imagine also it's a very closely guarded secret, anything to
We're trying to keep it
Yeah.
under covers
Yeah.
as much as possible because that we hope will entice people to tune in and watch it and then get taken up in the new world that the next generation is now inhabiting.
The new world the next generation is inhabiting. At face value, it just sounds like an actor talking about a show changing aesthetically. But after the Midnight's Edge video, it puts a whole new light on everything. And Patrick Stewart would know. He is an executive producer. And he mentioned earlier on in this interview, he's never been that before. So he is in on the creative process. How much? I do not know. There is the question out there, why would CBS and Paramount go through so much trouble for this? CBS does own the rights to Star Trek outright. But as mentioned in the Midnight's Edge video, it looks like some sort of deal was done with Kurtzman to where Bad Robot or Secret Hideout or Kurtzman himself was given a piece of Star Trek because Moonvis CBS did not give a crap about this show. I mean, why use the Kelvin aesthetic at all? It's an absolute failure. The Kelvin universe is dead. People did not like that look. The one thing people remember the most about all of JJ Star Trek is the lens flares. The one thing I have to ask you out there and myself is, now that it looks like Star Trek Prime Canon is different from Star Trek Canon, does this change your view on Star Trek Discovery concerning canon? I would have to say with me, it does. I've said it before in my recaps that if this occupied the Kelvin universe, I wouldn't hate the show as much. It's still a bad TV show, but I would look at it a lot different. And maybe CBS should just come out and admit it at this point, and it might mend some fences, because I don't know, them going out and deliberately muddying the water though and causing confusion even within the Star Trek fandom, not just with normies and the general population. Sony has done something very similar to this with Venom. There's a lot of people who went and saw Venom and thought they were seeing an MCU film. That was deliberate. Companies do this. There's precedents all the time. And I'm not saying it's even a bad business move. It's an evil one. And really, Star Trek fans are kind of at each other's throats right now over this stuff, and maybe they love it, they being CBS and Paramount. And shame on you, because you should be just trying to entertain us, but they're trying to be, lens flares, gimmicks. It's all about gimmicks. That's why it's not Star Trek, at least not to me anyway. So tell me what you think. Do you care at this point? If it occupies a different universe, does that totally change your view on it? I'm interested to hear from you. Now, you can talk directly to me 3 times a week. I'm available for 3 live streams a week. Monday and Wednesday, 11 a.m. for the Nerdrotic Nooner, and Friday Night Tights at 7 p.m. Pacific Time with my good friend Susan Layton. And please join the conversation. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff because I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what you think regarding Star Trek Discovery. It might not matter if it's Prime Canon or Canon because it might be stolen. Please check out my link in the description. #JusticeForAnos. And to all you normies and people in the general population asking why the hell do we care, we need to know if our story counts. The story we have grown up with, that we've been with. It's like family. When you've grown up with a TV show for decades, it becomes part of your life. And you want to know this story matters. And when you muddy the waters like this, it makes it fake. Great job, guys, over at Midnight's Edge on the video, and Doomcock, my good friend Doomcock. He joins me for a show called The Exozone. Please check it out. Everybody, have a great day. Go to nerdrotic.com for my live stream schedule, and may the small folks sing songs of your greatness.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.